shall we? Okay. Good morning, everyone. It's episode 34 of the Fighting Turtles podcast. We're missing Limyaael, but he should have been here. Well, hopefully he drops by later, and if that happens, I'll let you all know. Or, it'll be fairly obvious. Anyway, Jeroz ain't here today, but we have our super special guest, Stuffy!
I'm special, guys! Yes. Hello.
Nice.
Am I overplaying this? I think I'm overplaying this. Okay, we're also joined by the regulars, Grady.
Hey.
And Stooge.
Yo.
And me. I'm not going to tell you who I am.
It's not foul.
Yes, exactly. Okay, Limyaael, what do you got? Oh, right, shit.
Yeah, what do we do?
What do we do here? Right, anyone have any news, at all?
I'm loading up Anime right now.
We'll talk about one of the Anime articles.
Okay, we'll talk about one. Hang on, I'm trying to think about... Okay, there is actually news, which I kind of know. So... Artland Studios.
Oh yeah.
Shut down. So moment of silence. For those not in the know, they made Mushishi and some other really fucking good shows, but Mushishi's the big one for me. And God, why?
It's a very quick moment of silence.
Oh my god.
Bad, man.
I don't know how I'm gonna go on. But hang on, have they made anything recently?
I think they said they made Nanatsu no Taizai the next season, I think.
Oh,
was that it?
Maybe.
I can't remember if that's the name. Anyway, yeah.
How the mighty have fallen. But then again, I don't think Mushishi sold that good anyway, despite being really fucking good. So
Yeah, it was a really apparently their earnings were about the same as their debt.
Oh yeah.
I think it was about a few years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a 10th of what it was then, and they had still that similar debt. So yeah.
These people, they live under minimum wage, support the official release. Okay. Another vague piece of news thing was what? The Tsukigakirei sales spiked up.
Yeah, I think it was
week.
I think it was when the last episode aired.
Oh right, well that just makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So if anyone hasn't seen all of Tsukigakirei, what are you doing? Come on.
Yeah.
Even I watched it.
Yeah, it's kind of what you expect of a stock price kind of thing. And then all of a sudden
Buy.
Yeah.
Invest. Meme economy.
Yeah, I'm glad I invested into Tsukigakirei early.
Yes.
Alright. One last piece of news. Stooge, if you will.
Anime is the only thing in Mason Doherty's life that is organized, apparently. He sits quietly in his room full of crooked wall scrolls, misplaced figures, and empty tissue boxes stacked ceiling high. But among the piles of unpaid bills, worn clothing, and fast food containers, he still finds positivity in his life, his anime fans. Jeez, what a weeb.
I thought we'd read out an Anime Maru article to be funny, but that just ended up being too real.
IRL.
Right, okay. So no emails, so no news updates and other stuff. I guess we can get straight into the meat of our topic, which is whatever was left over from last week, which I didn't really contribute to at all because I didn't watch it.
Neither did I. I just kind of came here and right in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's right.
But I mean, as far as leftovers, no, we're really lucky to have Stuffy's actually here.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get to talk about Sakura Quest all that much.
It's true.
So, yeah. Care to summarize or review?
Sakura Quest.
Well, so Jeroz, how was Boku no Hero Academia 2?
I think it's that was a very I should we edit that out. That was a very bad impression of it. Maybe slightly racist.
I'm sorry, we don't edit things out here.
Damn.
What do you think we are? The left?
I guess this is my final appearance on the show.
Thank you for your time.
But yeah, I did watch the
Okay, yeah.
I think it was...
So wait, hang on, what was Sakura Quest about?
Oh, right, Sakura.
Are we talking about Sakura Quest?
Wait, what are we talking about?
I said Boku no Hero.
I thought we were going down this list first. That's
Fine,
right.
okay.
Yeah, let's go down that list.
So forget I said anything about Sakura Quest and let's go into
We'll go back to it. Let's do.
Yeah.
So, Boku no Hero Academia, the second season.
Yep.
I think it was the first season was kind of okay.
Yeah.
But the second season is good.
Oh
if
yeah.
that
I've heard stories and seen many a Twitter GIF.
If the r/anime best girl contest is indicative of anything, it seems that it's very popular.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely rising because the last tournament arc was apparently superb. And you know, those kids, they love their tournament arcs. You can't get enough of it. But yeah, apparently it was good.
Yeah, lots of fun new characters, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, a show like that does lend itself well to introducing lots of weird, quirky, funny new characters.
quirky. Yeah.
Hey, what? Oh yeah, I didn't even realize.
But yeah,
Nice.
It's good. It's so like new characters which are a lot of fun. The story's probably a lot more action packed.
Yeah.
I guess you'd say. And
yeah, I think what was done. A lot of people's complaints was that it took a while to really get into it.
maybe it was kind of like just the first season was just
Set up.
okay,
Alright.
and you expected it to be
Wow.
like you expected it to be a superhero kind of thing where you jump right into the action kind of thing, but it kind of builds up, I guess, for the first season, and then the second season it's kind of the character development's good, kind of better and more there kind of thing. And if you have favorite characters in the first season, they probably get a lot more development and like screen time and stuff like that. And
Alright.
I don't think this is a spoiler, but spoiler, they pick their hero names in this season, so that's fun.
Alright, that's a lot of fun. Okay. Hang on. Speaking of thing,
Yeah.
Sakura. Wait, what's
Sakura
next on the list?
Sakura Reset.
Oh,
But
Sakura
that's fine.
Reset.
Speaking of MacGuffins,
Ah.
the story along.
Alright, let's just rewind that a bit. Okay, the Sakura. Sakura Reset.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's fine. I found it was good. I think a lot of people who aren't getting into it probably it's because the voice acting is kind of monotone.
I think it's less about the voice acting and more about the direction, right? Because in the end, the creators of the show wanted a very sort of specific way of expressing it, right? Like the entire atmosphere of the show is very, I guess, logical, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
So everyone kind of dips into this monotonish voice.
Yeah.
And for some people, I can get it's a bit deterring because they kind of sound like they're not
Robotic, I guess.
like what?
Robotic, I guess.
Yeah.
Somewhat. Not
Unappro-
quite, but yeah.
Yeah. Not how high schoolers would usually speak, right? And it kind of just deters them.
Should we have maybe summarized quickly what it was about?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a town. There's a lot of mutants, like X-Men. there.
Yeah.
Everyone has like a small, teeny, tiny superpower that they can only use within the town.
Yeah.
And boy meets girl. Boy is like, I do everything right all the time. And girl is like, I reset when I get sad. And that's it.
I reset when other people get sad.
Actually, no, you're right. That's my bad. But yes, so I think it was a 50-50 split between people who are like, wow, what a great, well-directed mystery / psychological / growth show this is. Meanwhile, other people are like, I didn't sign up to watch robots.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, they couldn't quite get immersed into it for some reason or other.
Yeah, I think so.
We're really dry with that Limyaael.
It's a 2-to-2 ratio between shitpost as an actual content.
Well, yeah, now it actually is a 2-to-2 ratio.
But yeah, so I think overall pretty good.
Yeah, it's definitely wrapping up now that we're in the second core. I definitely like the pacing of the show. It's been quite consistent throughout, and as well as the characterization, that's been pretty consistent.
Yeah.
I think a lot of two-core shows do the mistake of being really slow the first half and then being way too fast the second just to catch up with everything. But this has been really good. It's been
I
good.
think it's kind of like the draw for most people might be the mystery part. So it's like there's a lot of mystery and things like that, and you're kind of like, oh, what's the deal? What's going to happen?
What's the deal with Sakura Reset?
And so the character development has kind of still been happening in the background as well, kind of not as
pronounced. Yeah, it's a lot more subtle.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot more subtle. I'd say it definitely takes a backseat to the mystery, but it doesn't like, they don't forget about the character development. It's still there.
Yeah.
Like, I think there was only like one episode where they really emphasized the character development, the hierarchy specific episode, but like other than that, it's a very delicate but well balanced sort of thing that they have going on.
Yeah.
Alright, on to the...
Shingeki no Bahamut. Sorry. How are we going to segue? Speaking of MacGuffins. Bahamut.
I haven't watched...
Bahamut 2, Virgin Soul.
Yeah, so it's like... It's kind of just as good as the first season, but if you really enjoyed the first season, you'll enjoy the second season as well.
Well, it's Jeroz gonna record a clip and talk about it a little.
I think that was for
Sakura Quest? Or Reset? Probably Reset.
Yeah, Reset.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
he seems very passionate about Reset, and like everyone else. And every time he sees like someone who doesn't get the show, he goes on a really big tirade. It's like, okay,
It's true.
but I won't lie. He's like part of the reason why I stuck to it.
Yeah.
Because like in the first few episodes, I was like, this is a bit weird. But then, like, no lie, he was the one that helped me stick to the show. But anyway, back to Virgin Soul.
Yeah. So so like
It's just as good as the first season.
yeah,
Apparently.
but I think it might even be better.
Ooh.
So like the first season, there's that dynamic between Faro and
Yeah.
and those two kind of do a good job of that, but then the second season,
Yeah.
you've got, a female main character, and she's just really, I guess, like, peppy, I think is the word.
Is she like your typical Genki sort of character?
Yeah.
Something to that effect, I think.
Yeah, and it's like...
So you had a buddy cop movie for the first season, and the second season is like fantasy adventure stuff.
Yeah.
All set within that same universe.
Yeah, it's set 2 years after.
2 years.
I think, if I remember rightly. But yeah, anyway, a little bit after, not too far after.
If you liked the first season, chances are you're gonna like the second season.
Yeah.
If you like playing Shadowverse, you might enjoy this at least a little bit more than the current meta. Because it sucks balls.
Probably true.
Still better than Roach Forest.
Yeah, so...
Don't fucking trash talk about the forest, alright? That shit took me to A rank. Then they nerfed it. Alright.
But yeah, so it's kind of like the way that Nina actually, so Nina's the name of the character, interacts with all the other characters is interesting as well. There's some recurring characters from the first season, and it kind of does that same thing of taking you along on a trip with the main characters, as they try and basically somehow
their
save the
quest.
world. Yeah. Speaking of reoccurring characters, but yeah, so Recreators.
Who's watched it? I don't know. I don't know.
Grady
watched it.
Grady's watched it.
Oh, okay. You two really haven't watched anything.
I watched Kikakira, get off my back.
I watched Roommate.
Only
so
worth watching this season.
Yeah, so Recreators.
It's bad. Next.
I want to talk a bit about.
Is the general consensus that it's bad? Is that like if you go on the internet like, oh, should I watch Recreators? Are you gonna get a Reddit post with 1,000 points saying like, don't watch Recreators?
I haven't been on r/anime in forever,
Yeah.
just because that place is, well, it's not toxic, but it's very susceptible to hive mind.
Well, I mean,
But like, I think it's bad. Grady thinks it's bad.
Yeah.
oh wow, you think it's bad?
Yeah. So like,
is this?
it's
Yeah.
kind of like.
Oh, let's lay down the synopsis first for anyone who
Right,
hasn't.
okay, yeah.
Okay, so I guess the idea is basically. Alright, so I'm not sure, but I think it's a light novel adaptation. But basically,
Well,
I thought it was an original.
or maybe it's.
It is an original. I'm pretty sure. I remember.
Yeah, it's original, but not that original. So basically, the idea is all these characters from different worlds and different genres, 2D characters, come into the real world.
oh,
So I
I
think
want to
you've
fall
got
asleep already.
like I think it's Asuna from Sword Art Online.
Now I'm really gonna fall asleep.
I think some mage from, I don't remember what she's supposed to be from, but I think it's like, just some magic kind of.
Just your standard sort of mage character.
Yeah.
Generic
And then
mage.
and then you have Shinji from Evangelion. He's in
Yeah.
there.
And yeah, like all those kinds of ones. And like a character from Monogatari, but like one of the problems is none of the characters come off like as good, anywhere near as good as the like thing they're parodying. And because it's played seriously, like it's supposed to be a serious story.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't really work very well. Like, so you can probably, the premise sounds okay, I guess. But I guess when you think about what it could have been, like if, for example, Trigger did it instead,
Ooh.
and took all these characters from different worlds and they just made a comedy with like, maybe not necessarily comedy, but something that doesn't take itself seriously at all, then that would have worked probably a lot better. But as it is, they try and put them all together, and it kind of doesn't. The writing kind of isn't good enough.
No, yeah, the writing is definitely not good enough to pull off like a serious. Absolutely not.
And like they move, like the best episode was episode 11.
What happened to that episode?
It was basically the same as episode 11 of Eromanga Sensei, but Eromanga Sensei did it better, and it fit a lot better in Eromanga Sensei.
So I'm telling you guys, Eromanga Sensei is pretty good.
Yeah, so like it's probably like the fact that when that episode came out, I was like, oh, they should have just done this kind of thing for the entire show, but it didn't really keep on that too much. Like the things that were brought up kind of continued in the story, but it wasn't that like that particular way of storytelling didn't persist very much. And yeah, the latter episodes, they go a bit more meta, but unfortunately it's kind of still doesn't seem to hit the mark. Like the level of, like there's one episode where they do a recap, and it's
There's a recap episode.
yeah, but it's like
What doesn't have a recap?
Or was it that one flashback episode with the main character, quotation marks, where he talks about his relationship with the girl who created...
that was episode 11.
Oh.
That was probably one of the better episodes.
Really? I hated that episode. It was just blatant exposition, and like it's just lazy writing. I mean, not that the writing of the show is good at all,
Yeah.
but it's
Not only
like
is it bad, it's lazy too.
like at least in each episode they were sort of moving forward, right?
Look, they were able to gain that basic concept of story writing, which is beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah, like I think that's also one of the problems is that they move so slow. So like
Yeah.
I think in 7 or 8 episodes was when they first introduced the first plot point kind of thing. Like it was, the story was kind of just expositioning and introducing the characters kind of thing. But it wasn't until like relatively late in that first half where they actually, you know, it's kind of explaining the mystery, but it wasn't that complex of a thing. So it's kind of
They really built it up to be something that was bigger than it was.
yeah,
But yeah, you're right. I was surprised at how slow the pacing was.
yeah,
And I think that just made like the action set pieces, I wouldn't say like irrelevant, but really shoehorned, at least
yeah,
for me.
yeah.
Because I was expecting coming into this show like a battle royale of these characters, and it was kind of the complete opposite of that, where they just had little action moments cut into what was essentially very slow exposition, very boring exposition.
It's like Fate, but bad.
Yes, oh my gosh, yeah, it's exactly that. Holy shit.
Hey, it's great because we have an example of someone that does it. Everything they do, but correctly.
Yeah, oh my god. My mind is blown right now. It's like a bad Fate Zero. A really bad Fate Zero. Everyone should just watch Fate Zero and stop watching Recreators.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, like there's a lot of problems with Recreators, and yeah, the first, like...
Hang on, how long have we been talking about Recreators?
We like to bash shows, okay? I like to bash shows.
Yeah, like...
I think we should sum it up and like, okay, so we thrashed it.
Yeah, it's... The premise seems like it could be okay, but
Yeah.
it doesn't execute very well at all.
Solid premise, poor execution.
Probably
I'll give it a
wrong.
light 2 out of 10, despite not watching it myself. And let's, speaking of Quest...
Sakura Quest.
Great pivoting, guys.
Yeah.
So I think I'm the only one here that's watched Sakura Quest.
No,
Oh, Grady's watched it as well.
Grady's watched everything.
I was counting him. That's great.
Grady.
So basically what happens in Sakura Quest,
What is Sakura Quest about? Sell it to me.
cute girls do cute things. Oh, that was bad. Let me try
That's
again.
it. Alright. Everyone's
Wow,
staying away
I'm
from this show.
already not sold.
So basically, it's about this girl called Yoshino, and she's trying to get to like she's trying to get work in Tokyo, but she can't. And then she accidentally finds work in like this backwater sort of place.
Oh, whoops! I have a job.
As like sort of the mascot or promoter of that region. And she kind of unwillingly settles in at first, but then she finds another group of her own group of sort of guys, and they help the town. They help revitalize the town, sort of thing. And it's very much like what you'd expect of a PA Works slice of life / drama show.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got pleasant goings on intermingled with slight tense moments, but at the end of the day, everyone looks nice and pleasant. And that's all that really counts.
It's been compared to Shirobako.
I think it's definitely a better version of Shirobako. I felt like Shirobako was like their testing ground, and then Sakura Quest was really like when they got into it. I'd say it's a really good balance between the characters and the show. Basically, the show does a really good job of exploring each of the characters and what they go through. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, Grady, what do you think?
Yeah. I enjoyed it so far as well. So it's kind of like earlier on, like it's complete failure basically.
Yeah. And I mean, like that's expected, right?
Yeah.
You have an experienced person coming in, and she's not gonna like. I mean, that's the thing with Shirobako, right? There was tension, but it wasn't really that heightened because you knew at the end in Shirobako the main character was gonna succeed, right?
Yeah.
And then in Sakura Quest, you have people that fail. You have failure.
So
and you have people.
There are stakes and there are consequences.
Yeah. The consequences are definitely real here, and the characters grow from those consequences, which is really great.
All right.
And yeah, it's not
Interesting
necessarily like there's also that dynamic between like so in Shirobako everyone wants the anime to be out. And,
Yeah.
but in Sakura Quest, not everyone has the same goals. So
Yeah, you basically have these two factions, like the board of merchants and the board of tourism, who have been they've been in conflict with each other. At least the leaders have, and so they can't work together, and that conflict really brings into the show like how difficult things are, basically.
yeah, and yeah, there's like a fair few moments where you're like, oh cool, they're on the right track, and then like it goes wrong, and you're like, oh no, oh no.
Well,
but yeah, it's good fun. I enjoyed it.
A solid PA work.
yeah.
Yeah, and just one more thing to add.
Yep.
What they did better here than in Shirobako was explore all the characters, because you have 5 characters here, as you did in Shirobako.
Yep.
And in Quest, they explored each of them. Like, they gave them more equal time.
Yeah.
Because in Shirobako, you only had Aoi.
The focus is
Yamori, yeah.
Yeah, Miyamura for like the first core essentially, and then this one they definitely gave, and they did the balance really well, I think.
All right.
So, like, I think the latest episode was probably the best example of them going through each of the characters and exploring what they're doing and like how they've changed from being in the town, which I forgot the name of now. Manoyama, there you go. And that kind of results in like the show being longer than how it feels, at least for me, because they juggle it so well, and but it doesn't feel like it's taking time away from any one character. So it's really, at least I like the show because you get to see the growth of each character and like how they change from like being in the town and like doing their jobs and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Well, okay. That certainly sounds interesting, promising. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Keep watching
wow.
for the second season.
Second core.
Yeah.
I like the second core. It's really great. The first episode of the second core was really good. Yeah, like I said, the latest episode was really like a solid halfway point. Like these are how the characters have grown, and like this is where they are now. This is their perspective as opposed to how they were before. It was really great to see that change.
Right. So have we summarized the season at last?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the summary done.
Now to this week's topic.
On to this week's topic. So members who have MALGraphs or created MALGraphs are now going to compare and contrast how their tastes compare to the overall tastes of Mal. Now you see, I didn't bother. It makes me the moderator of this discussion.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Understandable.
I had to update my Mal just
Right.
before the show because I was using Kitsu. Use Kitsu, guys.
Right.
But I just transferred all my. I just realized I
sponsored.
could have extracted the XML from Kitsu to Mal instead of manually typing in everything. God damn it! But I did it anyway for this podcast
And now-
because that's how dedicated I am.
And now, like 3 out of 4 have MALGraphs.
So we're gonna start with mine first.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Why not? We're already on that train of thought.
All right.
Okay.
So what do we do? I mean,
So,
Alright. So what's your?
onto our main list,
Alright.
and then sort by difference.
The
Again.
other way.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's go with the average difference. Like
Oh, well,
how do your
that would be
scores
a-
compare
that would
to
be
the
here.
rest of the?
Yeah, I checked that before. I think it was 0.42 higher than the global mean.
Right. So wait, that 0.42.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, I was expecting myself to be below the mean, but
Right.
that's a bit surprising.
Actually, I might actually go around and see how people's means.
Oh yeah, let's do that first.
Because I want to know, like, is that good, bad? Is it common? Is it not? Because
I mean, if you're looking at mine, I'm 0.88 higher than.
okay, 0.88 higher.
Higher than Grady.
Grady
Oh,
is
0.84 higher.
0.84 higher. Okay.
So, but higher for all of us, but not more than one.
Okay. One thing I've noticed from these MALGraphs, which we can quickly discuss this, is that some shows you'd rate a 10, but there are no 10s on them. At
That's
least
pretty
not
accurate.
from the average perspective. So doesn't that mean, like, just from that aspect alone, wouldn't more people be likely to have a higher than the average mean score?
You'd think that,
Yeah.
but that doesn't make sense
Okay.
when you think that. Like,
Alright, maybe.
like on individual series,
Yes.
that's definitely true.
Yeah.
But often people rate below as well.
Alright, that's true.
Because
So it balances
so
out.
an average.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So
So averages are pointless.
yeah, so so some of the stuff I found were a lot of like joke. So like I found that
Yeah.
Mal doesn't like pun anime, so with lots of puns in them.
But that makes sense, right? Because the majority of people who use Mal are English-speaking audiences, and if you don't get the puns in Japanese, then you're gonna be staring at the screen like what the hell are they saying?
Yeah, from that aspect, of course, it makes sense that more pun-based comedy is going to lose out to the more absurdist, surreal, low random way Gintama does it.
Yeah, Mal loves that shit. Holy crap!
XD.
Oh, but look, I digress because I have a slightly more iffy opinion on Gintama, but people do like the show, and I'm willing to admit that there are some gags that are pretty funny.
100. Also, they don't like short stuff as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I wonder why that is.
Yeah, same.
Especially since I feel like a lot of shorts tend to, because they have to go more straight to the point, are actually like more solidly executed than a long series. You seem to just go on and on and on.
Yeah. Like I'm
Yeah.
looking at my higher than average ratings, and like 9 out of 10 on the shorts. It's like, why? But yeah.
I guess it's
There are really good shows.
probably the binge watching culture and more like the
yeah.
substance over style over execution even.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where
that's
like it's like you watch a 5, 10 minute, 15 minute show and it's just like, oh, that's it. Some people could be more like that, but I don't know. That seems a bit unfair to me.
Yeah, like I guess if you like, for example, Kojimpa, it's probably too fast
Yeah.
for some people to follow, so they'll miss most of the content.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess people could also like misconstrue the talking super fast or like content
Yeah.
to be
Content.
bad automatically just because, like, what is this?
Yeah. And yeah, if you use like a breakdown, so you're like, alright, story was this many points, graphical quality was this many points.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Wait, that's a thing?
Some
You
people
haven't
do.
seen that?
Again, Mal, I don't go on Mal anymore.
yeah.
You know, that's pretty prevalent on Mal reviews. It's like, oh yeah, the story was 9 out of 10, but the animation was 7 out of 10. So they do that and then do overall. That
Oh.
tends to be really common in
Yeah.
reviews.
Yeah, so I guess if you look at it from that perspective, a lot of people will rate shows probably lower when they're shorts because, you know, you don't have as much character development
No,
usually.
there's not going to be
No.
character development. There's hardly going to be any plot progression. But then you could argue, like, if it's say comedic shorts, like how much character progression you really want, how much story progression do you really need?
Yeah.
But again, like then we go into the argument of like comedy's the baser form of the art. Just because it's like, oh, it's meant to be funny, it doesn't have to be smart, ergo, it's stupid.
Yeah. Sometimes it does feel like that's some of the
Oh yeah.
the view.
I mean, like,
The
tragedy is always
yeah.
going to be valued higher than comedy. In fact, for anyone that's watched Kuzuno Honkai, like, wait, you watched it, didn't you, DVD?
Yeah.
I want to know how you compare to the average there on Mal.
0.23 higher.
Wow, really?
What did you give
You
it?
can't exactly give point values for ratings though.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't finished it.
So you gave it 7?
8.
8.
An 8? What? Really? 8?
On par with Technolize and Servant Service and Aka 13, just for context.
Don't put Aka and Kuzuno Honkai in the same category. Star! What are you doing? Oh, I'm getting upset. But okay, yeah. I know I gave it a 5 or a 6.
I want to see your negative ones. What shows have you
Yeah, well,
rated more harshly?
The
than others?
most questionable one, which was probably for a very particular reason, was Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, I'm just seeing it now. Ghost in the Shell. Was this the movie one? The first movie?
Yeah. Because I think I watched it English dub.
alright.
Might as well just watch the live action movie, Grady.
I have watched the live action movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
What did you give that?
Probably the
On
same.
Mal.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Probably less actually. Yeah, it's probably higher than the live action movie.
Alright.
But yeah. Yeah, so probably a few of the lower ones for me
But-
could be, well, actually mainly just that one.
Actually,
Some of the other ones.
you giving Kuzuno Honkai an 8 falls correctly into my little hypothesis there.
What hypothesis?
The whole tragedy,
Oh, all right.
drama. It made me sad. That means it's good.
I feel like that's a trap
It
most.
hurt me. It made me. That means it's good. When-
Yeah, that's definitely. I wouldn't say that's something people fall into like in the
Oh,
beginning
yeah.
of anime, especially for me, right? With Anohana and Steins Gate,
Oh, yes.
and like I guess Toradora. And those kinds of shows, right? Those
yeah.
Mario Okada shows.
Then we're going to the objectivity versus subjectivity and like generalizing people's tastes in general.
Yeah.
And like that's a dangerous thing, especially with a MALGraphs. You're taking opinions from an entire side for whom like some people are doing like, oh my god, I love Gintama, and other people are like, what the fuck is this shit? So
People have opinions.
yeah. What a surprise, right?
Who'd have
Okay.
thunk it?
Stooge, like, I don't know.
Oh.
Let's,
Go through mine? Or?
yeah, sure.
Yeah,
let's
let's
go
put,
through
let's
it.
see yours.
Well, from the top. Well, let's see
Alright.
anything interesting going on.
Because like
here.
yours and Grady's deviations are pretty similar.
Okay, the Katsuno Shanshin.
There's a reason Katsudo Shashin's at the top.
Rated 10 with a difference of plus a 4.44.
You guys have freakishly large deviations.
See, the reason for
Mine's
Katsudo Shashin being so high is because it's the first known anime ever
Yes.
made. Think about it. If someone goes back in time
It
and
gets
stops Katsudo
props.
Shashin from this would just be the manga club.
Without Katsuno Shanshin,
This
there
would,
wouldn't be any other anime, so technically it should be given an 11.
it should. You imagine this would just be the Fighting Turtles manga podcast.
I read Boku no Hero Academia.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good.
I wouldn't exist. I wouldn't be here.
It's getting pretty good.
Yeah, I found the animation was very nice.
Yeah, the art's very good.
Yeah.
The story is very
I like the shading.
I like the
Yeah.
feel of the pages.
Feel like the
Yeah,
pages.
yes.
I mean, like, some people read it online, but I'm a bit of a purist. Where were we?
Oh yeah.
We're looking at Stooges' MALGraph.
Yeah.
Alright, what else?
All right.
What are some of your higher deviations?
Well,
else do you
Piace,
have?
obviously.
What?
Italian. Piace.
Wait, I gotta move.
The Italian restaurant show.
Okay. What else we have?
And there goes my
Sicko Boys, Ninja Slayer,
They're all meme shows. That's why
Oh, yeah.
I'm such high.
Roommate. I gotta catch up on Roommate. I stopped at like episode 8. It's
pretty
Is it good?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
It has plot, unlike a certain other show of similar quality. Yeah. I don't know. Keep running, I guess. Kemono Friends, obviously, there has to be high.
Is that okay?
Yeah, because the average is 7.78, I think.
That's higher than I thought.
Okay.
Yeah, so I put 9 because I actually liked it. You know, good old memes and stuff.
Yeah, I gave it a 9 as well.
Nice. Oh, I have Akunohana highlighted.
I think I gave it a 9 too, or maybe an 8.
I think Kemono Friends was probably affected by the English as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Only a horror.
Oh, did you guys hear they kept the penguin?
Oh yeah. Yes.
That was very
Oh
sweet.
yeah, great kun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised Akunohana. I thought my rating of 8 would be considerably higher than the average, but it turns
No.
out the average is not that. It's like 7.
I think Akunohana was one of those shows where, when it first came out, and people were so absolutely confronted by the visual fuckery
Yeah.
they were seeing, it made people like, this is shit.
I can't.
But
watch
you know,
this.
it's the sort of thing, like, as the years go by, as people cool down on that sort of thing, they're able to actually like watch it and review it more or less, like, without the whole like, I'm gonna give it a chance, and then they give it a chance, and it's like, wow, okay, this is actually like pretty interesting, or at the very least very unique for what it is.
I think
What's your largest
one
team?
of the things about Akunohana, which is really interesting that's got a high rating now, because I think it was like 3 or something.
At its
there.
worst, I wouldn't be surprised if it was down to 3 or maybe even 2.
Yeah, because it was one of those shows where
People
starts
were
off-
hugely divided.
it starts off really like a lot of people are really not into it
Yes.
at the first episode, but it really ramps up in quality every episode. Like it starts pretty low, but it gets pretty high at the end, and by the end you're like, I hope they make a second season.
I gotta continue watching it.
But I personally didn't get into it because I didn't quite like the way they wrote it scoped.
Yeah, fair enough.
The animation style itself, and like on the other hand, I can appreciate why they chose that particular style and why. And you know, maybe one day I'll get over my fucking pretentious self and like just go ahead and watch it. But I've read the whole manga, so
Yeah.
I've gone the
You need
gist
to
of
watch
it.
the anime.
Yeah, that one's a bit of a surprise because it's one of those ones where I would have expected people would get a little way and go, oh no, I'm done. Give it a low rating and never finish it.
Yeah. Ugh, dropped 3.
Why would you rate dropped shows? I just feel like that's not fair
Well,
to.
some people do.
I don't.
But
rate
I mean,
shows.
it just doesn't. I mean, I wouldn't because it doesn't feel right to. Like,
Yeah,
Like dropping it is all the rating you need.
that's pretty accurate actually. It's like
but anime is one of those weird things where you're like, oh, do I rate it based on what I actually feel? Is this really real? Am I being objective here? Like, what the fuck's going on?
Another thing surprised me. I gave Steins Gate a 9, and that's below average.
9 is below average. By how much?
A 0.16. It's not that much.
Alright, not that much, but
So
still,
it's basically 10 or bust.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it makes sense. Except Mal doesn't have point ratings.
No, it doesn't. So, no, I mean, this is all like a meme and
Meme.
Meme.
Indian. This is all a meme.
Meme difference.
Yeah. Which makes me wait. So what was the point of this topic again?
I don't even know. I'm just
I think
looking
it's
at my
mainly
feed.
stuff like, why you think Mal was so different or something like that.
Well-
yeah, fair enough.
Well, I think, I already mentioned about how there's a lot of people, there's a lot of anime, and there's a lot of wide varying opinions on each show depending on who you ask. So, having a MALgraph that compares your taste compared to the mean average taste is kind of
Weird.
It's weird.
It's
It's a
but like
weird thing
we
to do.
know that, right? We know that
Yeah,
there's
we know
different.
that,
We know that there's a lot of different people, and they rate a
I'm
lot
not
of different
gonna
ways.
lie, like a lot of it is very interesting, like to see. Well, I mean, some shows which you just rate highly for the sake of it because whatever, it's a meme show. And then of course your
Actually did
point
enjoy
difference is
watching.
going to be significant. But on the other hand, then you're going to rate some good shows really highly, and then apparently it's not high enough. In comparison to the rest of the site. Little stuff like that is interesting. But
Yeah, I think for me, I feel like that's why MALgraph is. It's fun. That's all. It's just fun
Okay.
to see. Like you don't have to take it seriously.
No,
as long as you know how you rate
Yeah.
and like how you see things, then that's fine.
Oh, you guys just don't appreciate the culture of Castle Shushing.
Okay, let's look at mine now
There's
Alright,
also
yeah, let's look at
one.
yours.
because mine is the lowest deviation. I feel
Alright,
like.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, fair.
So this should be fun. Let's go from the top. What's your 10? And how does it compare?
I have how many tens is this? I feel like there's like
Click on
11
diff
tens.
twice.
Yeah,
Oh,
click on diff.
okay. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Alright.
Little Witch Academia.
Oh, that was the movie, the second OVA. If you will.
Alright. So second OVA of Little Witch
Not whole book,
Academia.
okay.
So you gave it 10, and the difference is
Two.
2.
Two. I think I remember
Is
when
that
I
minus 2? Or?
plus 2,
Plus
so 2
Oh,
higher.
It's
Yeah.
higher than,
Wow, okay.
well, it could be minus, then the average would be
Yeah, yeah, that's
12.08.
So I remember clearly when I watched this show, it was right after at the time I was feeling like, oh, so much airing anime they have shit animation and they're using so much 3D CG and oh my god, where's all the hand animated stuff like Evangelion and shit. And I watched this Little Witch Academia and the animation just blew me away. Like the plot was pretty, it was a cookie cutter.
Yeah.
It was standard sort of thing,
Alright.
character growth, whatever. But the animation just kind of struck me really hard, and that was what gave me a 10.
Okay, if we're talking people giving serious 10s, then yeah, that's something to consider as well. Like,
Yeah, and that's another thing. Probably, I consider my ratings more serious than you two. Like, I don't put in like 10s for meme shows or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Like Inferno Cop, I gave a 4.
I'm pretty sure Kureido's is 10 on my list. But enough of that. Right, let's go to the second next one.
White Album 2.
Oh, Wild Album 2 a 10 with a difference of
2 again.
2 again. Alright. Okay, well. Okay, now White Album 2 does deserve a 10, though I think I gave it something to the tune of an 8 or a 9. Yeah, so the Mal average is something closer to 8.
Yeah. I think I felt similarly, as in like.
Look, yeah, a lot of things happened like throughout the whole story. Like, the plot progressed in such a way that 10 is definitely not. I'm not surprised by that rating. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
I don't know what else to
negative
say.
ones?
It's another
Negative ones. Let's see.
most negative.
negative ones.
Oh, there's so many negative deviations.
Amagami SS++.
That was bad. That was very bad.
Apparently it was bad. It's 4.59 below the average.
So people gave it a 7 on average. How could you give Amigama as a 7? That doesn't make any
I
sense.
understand. Konosuba? Interesting.
Oh, I didn't like. I know part of it was the hype. A lot of people were saying how great it was, and I was just like, no. And I remember I had a discussion with a friend of mine, and we were talking about the show, and what I was looking for in the show was completely different from why people were watching the show. And and he said people were watching the show because it was like a sort of parody on like the isekai trope.
Yeah.
Right, and that's why people liked it so much, because we're making fun of stuff like Sword Art Online and Log Horizon and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going at it because people were saying it's really funny. So I was expecting, oh, is this going to be like a new type of comedy? Is this going to be something other than the traditional Japanese slapstick Nichijou / high school boys of life thingy, thing? And it wasn't.
No, it's just a dude who steals girls' panties. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, come on, guys, again. And I gave it that score. So there you go.
Fair enough. And then Sword Art Online, lower than average. There's a good reason for that, I'm sure.
I liked Sword Art Online when it came out. It was like one of the first shows I watched. So
I don't blame anyone for liking Sword Art Online when it first came out, or like when it at its peak, because it's a weird cyclical thing with Sword Art Online. Where like it first came out, people overhyped it, and then you had people like me like, fucking shitheads. What the fuck are you doing? And then, as time goes by and people cool down on it, as with everything, as with Akunohana. and that's the only comparison of Akunohana and Sword Art Online you're only going to get on the internet. I can guarantee that.
I don't know. I'm gonna look one up now.
Oh my god! No, please.
yeah, I got a lot of -2 deviations. I think another surprising one for most people would be Hataraku Mao-sama. That's pretty low.
I put that at a low score isn't too surprising for me, because
it's 3 below average. No, that's the surprising thing.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think the thing with Mao-sama in particular is that sort of dichotomy between people who are like, oh, haha, funny. It's like fish out of water, but like the other way around instead of how I'm usually used to it. And like again, the comedy weighing out tragedy stuff, weirdness. So, but if people wanted a bit more substance from it, they probably weren't going to get it from Hataraku Mao-sama.
Sure enough, there's no comparison.
But it's just a fun show for a lot of people. So.
Yeah, I think that was probably the thing. I can't remember exactly, but I think they did transition into something more serious.
Oh, I see. Well, that could be.
And maybe people just because I think maybe for some people the starting part was really quite funny. Did you enjoy it from
I did not enjoy the comedy at all. I was expecting something more serious, and I think people liked it more for the comedy, which I suspect is the case here.
I'm not sure I was expecting anything much but comedy when I read the name, but
I mean, that's a case of the title being spoilers for the whole show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you had that incredible start, and then the title is Part-Time Demon Lord.
Yeah.
What could possibly happen here?
Yeah, I felt it had a strong start, a slow down or something.
Strong start, really established it, introduced the characters, but then I think it sort of waned as it went on.
Yeah. So giving that a low rating, I wouldn't really a lot of people like it.
Of course.
And that's okay, but if people didn't like it, that's not that surprising. To me.
Yeah, fair enough. I looked it up. It doesn't look like there's a comparison between the two on the first page of Google, and as we know, if it's not on the first page, it doesn't exist.
We win.
That's it.
The other interesting thing that I found was stuff that hits the average on Mal. So where your differences are the same as Mal. So one of those for me was Mirai Nikki.
Okay.
Which...
What was that? What did you give it? An 8?
An 8. Which is exactly the same as Mal gave it.
Oh, what a surprise.
So that was interesting, because I saw someone on Reddit or something who was talking about that, and they're like, obviously it's like the first anime they come into. And stuff like that.
And then, of course, then you also have the gateway effect, where like, it's the first show I ever watched. I have such good feelings when the show. It doesn't matter how shit it is. It's gonna get an 8 or a 9 regardless. And then regrettably, Mirai Nikki is one of those. Despite the fact that it's just so fucking stupid. People don't like it.
I like it.
I digress. I don't hate your show. I don't hate you for liking the show. I just wish more people watched ping pong. That's all.
Yeah, I think
something
that
I
was
could
like an interesting thing about Mirai Nikki is that, and I guess Mal general ratings as well is. So it's pretty easy to write that off as it's just people coming into anime for the first time.
Yeah.
And if you were bitter about Steins Gate, you might be able to do the same thing.
Oh yeah, of course.
But I think
I can accept that totally.
Yeah, but I think the thing is that it was the story was the show was kind of fun. I thought
it was just a fun show, funny show.
At least I'm watching it. That's what I felt.
Don't pay too much attention though, because then everything's gonna get fucked. Okay, sorry. No.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that interests me. If I were to watch Mirai Nikki not at the start of my anime career, I suppose, or Steins Gate, or those kind of shit. I wish. So much.
Where's the money?
Subscription.
Anime Lab, where's the money?
Myra, please.
Anime Crate. Fucking manga gamer, come on. Throw me a bone here.
But yeah, anyway. If I were to watch those kinds of show now as opposed to at the beginning, would I rate it the same? Probably not.
Oh yeah.
Right. But how much of a deviance would I?
Yes.
Would it be? And
not everyone is like me and goes through their list every second month or so.
I don't do that either. No, there's no. I don't understand why people do that. It's tiring. First of all,
no, it's fun because one week you're like, Kuzuno Honkai, I've been too harsh on you. I'll give you a 5, and then 2 weeks later I'm like, nah, it's a pile of shit. I'll give it a 1.
But maybe one or 2 weeks after you watch it, sure you let it settle in your head. But every month you go back and revise it. It's
no.
I mean, unless you're working for Crunchyroll or something like that. Then.
Well, if I was working for Crunchyroll, 10 out of 10. Yuri on Ice, so good. So good. I'm gonna beat my meat. Yuri on Ice, so good. Yeah, right. Okay. Enough of that.
Yeah. So with Mirai Nikki, because I watched it quite a ways in I watched it 2012 or something, and I've been watching stuff since 2006, so that was quite a way in.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And so it was just quite fun, and visually it was really strong.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Yes.
It was very consistent, and they did a lot with the art. And all those kind of things.
I hope you forget that girl everyone liked. Wow, what a great yandere. I wish I had a stalker girlfriend.
that kind of stuff might be an issue as well. Is
Fuel
that
to the fire?
When you if you look at it, if you get into it because everyone says, "Oh, this show is really good."
Yes.
Especially this character. She's my wifey. And then you watch it, and then you're
there's two things that really take my expectations super really low. It's hey, watch this show, it's good. And then 2, my wife who's in it. At that point I'm just this better be a pile of shit.
My wife is in it, unfriend block.
Understandable, have a great day.
But yeah, so I think it's
my anime bonus.
So if you were watching the anime and you're alright, I'm going to focus on how good this is exactly, the quality of the story, every aspect of plot twists and things like that, how smart they are.
Oh yeah.
And then it's and this character, I'm just going to look at how good that character is and then base the opinion on those two. So I feel that might, for example, if people Levi is the best in Attack on Titan, then if you watch the show and he doesn't show up for a while, then you're probably not paying attention to that earlier stuff, kind of thing. So it's like
it's really like
risk,
what
I guess.
What you go into the show expecting. That's like
Yeah.
a big factor of how you rate your shows. At least in my examples, that's how it was, right? And probably for a lot of people, it's like that as well.
Yeah, so I think a lot of the people who go in, like if Mirai Nikki is a gateway anime, I guess, then probably a lot of people go in without too much expectation, I guess.
Yeah.
And so, they just enjoy it as a thing. And it's probably the same for most of the gateway anime. So they're probably actually the ratings are closer to what people actually think of the show, maybe.
Oh yeah.
That could be a thing. At least, I know for me, that's the reason why I try to avoid as many reviews and other people's testimonies as possible, because I want to go in without any expectations. So I want to go in with a clean slate and see the movie. Maybe I'll see a trailer just to see if it gauges my interest.
Well, there are some people who read a review and they're like, I agree with this, and that just becomes their opinion.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that, because sometimes you go into a show and you're like, I don't really have any strong feelings. I wonder what other people think, and then you can sort of attach yourself to that. Nothing wrong. It's just what happens sometimes. Not every show is meant to be taken 100% too seriously, because otherwise I just shit on everything.
Inferno Con, man.
You know what? I've been unfair to Mirai Nikki. I'm gonna go back to Mal and give it a 6. What? It's above average.
Instead of a 3, it's gonna be a 6, guys.
That's another thing. Is people not rating anything below a 5.
Oh.
Why would you? Okay. Is that a thing?
Who could you be talking about?
Are there ratings below 5?
What?
Numbers go below 5.
For real. Some people will I didn't really like the show and give it a 6. It's like.
Yeah, but for me, I just don't watch shows which are going to be less than 5. Basically.
Well, yeah. That's also a good point, because that's probably what happens to me a lot of the time. Is I go into shows based off recommendations, people similar taste and background, and then I watch it and I'm like, hey, this is pretty good, and so you end up with a Mal which is just 7, 8, 7, 8, 7, 8, occasional 9, 10, and then sometimes because you decided to be a bit more I'm gonna explore, I'm gonna keep going to the very end, and then you end up with a show that's just a fucking 4. Fuck by so much. God, I hate that shit so fucking much. Jeez. I wonder what my deviation is. I'm gonna have to make a MALgraph now.
Yeah, I found it's it's very the what was I gonna say? So mine kind of lines up pretty well with Mal stuff, apart from the ones which people haven't watched enough to actually get a rating yet.
Yes.
And you find once you get to the more niche stuff that's not entry level, then the ratings drop.
Yeah.
Boom.
Shout out to Nish. Keep watching the podcast.
Hang on. I think we've rambled on a good amount of that. So
we kind of went from MALgraph to how people rate and people's taste and how people watch, and that's a good pivot. That's a good pivot.
Shows that I hate, but that's what's going to happen to any sort of episode that involves Mal in any way.
I guess
because people have no taste.
To sum up, your taste is shit. Your waifu shit. Everything is shit.
Yes, everything is terrible. I hate everything. I think in some ways, this is more of a fun experiment. Why don't you try opening up Mal, giving a crack at making a MALgraph, and see how you deviate.
Why not?
And if you don't have an anime list, use Kitsu, because Kitsu's way better.
Or don't even bother with Mal, because who the fuck cares anyway? It's probably only really good for kind of keeping data on every show you've ever watched.
Yeah.
Even then, again, there's other options out there.
My ratings are basically based on whether I'd whether I'd recommend it or not. So it's
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
reference list if someone's like
Number ratings for stuff like anime or even music or movies kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're kind of wonky and weird anyway. 'Cause
Yeah.
what real objectivity do you have?
Well, it's kind of like Wikipedia. Like you see the number rating, and that gives you like a good gauge of like a starter gauge of like what the show might be like, and then you read the review.
Yeah.
And
But
see
I
how-
mean, like even in Wikipedia, if you go to receptions like of a particular movie, it's gonna be mostly negative reviews, mostly positive reviews, and like that's. I have a feeling that that's probably a better gauge of like.
But
Yeah,
Wikipedia can be
non-numbers.
edited by anyone.
Yeah, exactly. So you, I think the bottom line is trust nobody, not even yourself. You want to give me a Nikki an 8? No.
Oh, I would say
Two
trust.
steps back.
I would say trust nobody but yourself. You only have your own rating system to trust and gauge from.
Right. So I guess
mean, as long as-
the main message is trust nobody.
Oh, okay. we're going that route. Okay.
Speaking of reviews you shouldn't trust.
It's good, it's good.
That was a good segue. That was a good segue.
Alright.
All right. So what did you watch this week, Stooge?
This week I would have watched Tiger and Bunny, but I honestly forgot.
Oh,
And it
man.
became Friday and I was like, oh shit, what should I watch? So I watched Tonari no Seki-kun.
What is that in English?
My neighbor is Seki-kun, but to be precise, it's like Seki-kun is right next to me because it's more like the desk situation.
The guy
Oh.
in the seat next
So
to
yeah.
him.
Yeah. Pretty accurate,
Explain the.
It's a
premise.
pun, guys. It's a pun. The title is a pun.
Yes, yes.
I don't get it, but anyway.
Okay, go.
Tonari... Sorry, yeah, go on. Tonari no Seki-kun is about a girl and a guy in a classroom.
Whoa.
The guy's always constantly bored in class, so he just ends up playing with
goofing off.
goofing up with extremely creative. Well, creative is one of the words, more extravagant stuff in class. Like he, for example, brings a full fukuwarai set. I don't even know how you pronounce that.
Like
Fukuwarai.
like face.
Yeah, like pin the tail on the donkey, but hard mode. With the whole
Okay,
face.
okay.
It's pretty great. And then there's also he brings in freaking cats as well, shogi pieces, chess pieces, sand, and a sumo board, on top of many other things in other episodes. It's everyone's been bored in class, right? Like this takes it to a new level. Like he's just like, what is class? This desk is now my creative space. I can do what I like on here.
Yes.
And,
Hasn't this guy heard of a smartphone?
in class?
Oh, I see. Someone is a good student.
Yeah, but more accurately, the show follows the girl sitting next to him, whose name is Yokoi, and it follows her thoughts on the matter, like her train of thought, like what the hell is this kid doing? I'm trying to study.
Voiced by Kanahana.
It is. It's
Wow, she's everywhere. God damn.
Yeah. If there's one peeve I had, it's that whenever someone talked, there was always a very slight, high-pitched buzz in the background, like audio's like. You could tell when I don't know. It must have been
Is that an audio encoding error, or is that just like a?
possibly, yeah.
I can't imagine it being an actual recording studio error every time.
It might be my MPC.
Oh, I thought you were going like the Blu-rays, and now you could hear like every single thing happening.
It's just like
Full surround sound.
Flack and like you got a speaker set up.
All right, good job, everyone. Yeah.
hear the button presses.
The director sweating. I did this joke last night. I still love it.
Is this gonna get me paid? Is this gonna feed myself the next month?
We're gonna be able to pay rent.
Back to the anime.
Yes.
So it's a short. Every
Yes.
episode is about 7 or 8 minutes long. Actually, it's 7 minutes and 40 seconds exactly.
Good casual watching.
Yeah, it's I would say it's like TQ in that you shouldn't watch every single episode in quick succession like I did.
Yes.
Don't leave it all to the last minute like I did.
Oh, yeah.
I can
It's,
agree.
that sounds like a formula
After
for
that,
fatigue.
It's like, yeah, no.
Yeah. Well, more so the
because-
comedy gets dry
Oh,
after
yeah,
a few
for sure.
episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to add to that, like I did similar where I marathoned the whole of Tonari no Sekiguru as well. And I found towards the end, even though the jokes were like really creative and weird and funny, it just sort of like, I'm kind of already all laughed out here, guys.
That's it. You have to take your time. Well, take a break every now and then. You get the maximum comedic effect. Suffice to say, the art was fairly standard,
Oh yeah.
except the OVAs. They were direct rips, so it was down to 576p. But there's not much you can do about that, right? It was still good. It's more of the same,
yeah.
except it's longer because the OVAs are 13 minutes.
Yes.
Still good. It's different settings as well. Like they're in the snow, and
Oh yeah.
then they're in field trip, and it's like
Yes.
yeah,
Yes,
No,
OVAs
I thought this was a
take it-
classroom.
Yeah, no.
yeah, it's an OVA, so they're
The
outside.
OVAs
okay.
take it out of the class,
Alright,
and
alright.
there are situations where Yokoi meets Seki outside of class, and he's still just goofing the fuck off.
Oh yeah, fire drill, nah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the manga even goes more in depth and like, he visits his house,
Yeah.
but he's not there, except he does come home, so now he has to sneak around. It's
Yeah, true.
it's good. Oh yeah. So anyway, what do you think?
Well, I've got one more thing to mention. The music. The the opening. It was very, very fast at the start, and yet it still only took me like 4 or 5 episodes to learn it and karaoke. It was very good, opening. And the ending, definitely one of the more creative pieces I've ever heard.
Right. Should note in the opening, it's literally Seki animating the open.
It is, yeah, that's
as
true.
part of it is goofing off in class.
Yeah, so he's instead of on his desk, he's got the whole
Yeah.
thing.
The animator
Yeah,
setup.
that's the one.
Passes
Yeah.
Yokoi a script and records her
Yeah, with the
dialogue.
mic and everything, and it ties in with the actual song as well because it's just like Yamete, and it's like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
in the song, right? And then she
But
actually
no,
says it.
they're actually recording. So
He's recording her say that, and it plays in the song as a part of the song. It's pretty good.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then the ending also very good. It's creative as well. He plays quote unquote drums with the pencils. It's like
Stationary drum.
Stationary, yeah, and on his tin pencil cases.
Yes.
And then there's some pretty sick brass in the background, which I wonder how he did the brass with pencils and tin pencil cases, but yeah.
It's all in his head, like the fireworks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Happy. Yeah. It definitely is a good recommendation from me, and I'm pretty sure I rated it more highly than Mal did. Yeah, I did. I gave it an 8, and Mal's 7.69.
Here we go with the short discrimination.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else?
People's opinions. Oh yeah, best girl. I couldn't find the most obscure character, so I'm just gonna go with it's the robot Kazoku.
Yeah.
Oh, Robot Kazoku is the best.
Yeah, cue outro with the robot Kazoku thing.
Robot Kazoku. Look, the manga's pretty good, but I think the anime gets just a tiny bit of the edge because they perfectly adapted the whole Robot Kazoku.
Yes. It has a song.
Having watched it myself, I can agree with the recommendations. And just a quick note about the ending. I'm pretty sure it's an actual song or something.
Like
Even
it's
with
not
that,
made specifically
It
for the show.
wasn't made specifically for the show.
Oh, okay.
But they did get, I don't know if it was the original drummer or just one of the really great drummers to actually record it on stationary.
Oh wow.
And
Oh, yeah,
there's a
that's right.
video
Yeah,
of him doing it too. With the stationary, and it's fucking mind blowing.
I have to see this.
We'll have to link it.
do that.
Yeah. Tonari no Sekiguru, MALGraphs,
Yep.
seasonal reviews, forever.
Yeah. It's basically the entire podcast.
Wow.
That's
Up to
it.
this point.
Wow, I mean,
Yeah.
we really cleaned up there, and I even contributed despite not really doing anything.
Oh, you moderated.
No.
Yeah. You said you moderate.
Anyone can host.
I don't know about that.
Oh yeah.
The trick is that I can't host.
Alright,
Man,
so I guess-
otherwise Jay Leno would be out of a job. Oh. Alright,
So I guess look forward to episode 35 where we talk about some news
yes.
which happened in the last week.
Limyaael did not show up at all, so whatever. We're gonna play off the podcast. Discord right now. I'm scrolling up. I'm not sure what it is. I wasn't paying attention. Oh, jeez, I'm stalling.
Are we gonna edit this out?
I don't know, maybe.
We're gonna edit it to make it even longer.
Yeah, so the topic is going to be about...
Jeroz talking about freaking FFmpeg. God damn it.
I'm not gonna find it.
Oh my gosh, are you seriously can't find the topic for today?
Whoa.
topic is MALgraph difference.
Okay, there, MALgraph differentiation. There. Awesome.
Yes.
Why, if you knew that, why didn't you just go into it?
Because you did that entire tirade, and it's like
you're doing this bit.
I was stalling.
Please welcome
God
to
damn
your
it.
segment, Watari's Corner.
that was the entirety of Atari's Corner. Just keep going.
I slowly transform into a kettle.
So yeah,
Yeah, so this is a taste cast.
Alright,
Yeah, pretty much.
like as these things tend to go, it is a taste cast.